There has never been a lower barrier of entry to any job position in the world quite like content creation. There has never been something with a lower barrier of entry. Completely talentless, completely effortless, you can do it. No benefit to using AI as some kind of lower barrier of entry. In fact, it's only a higher one because you have to...
He went from being one of YouTube's biggest gaming creators, pulling in over 100 million views every month, to watching nearly 90% of his audience disappear like it was nothing. That kind of fall is crazy, and people definitely noticed. This is exactly how Kwebbelkop ended up tearing down his own YouTube empire piece by piece. Belko, whose real name is Geordie, kicked things off back in 2011, recording videos straight from his bedroom with a super basic setup. We're talking raw Call of Duty gameplay, almost zero editing, and a cheap microphone that didn't sound great at all. But somehow, that simple grind started pulling people in fast.
Whoa. They're coming out of the water!
At first, nothing really hit for him, and the views were moving slow. But everything flipped in 2014 when Geordie linked up with two other Dutch creators, Jelly and Slogo. Together, they formed a trio known as The Robust, and their GTA 5 Funny Moments videos started going crazy online. Every upload was pulling in millions of views, and fans were glued to their screens, refreshing YouTube non-stop, just waiting for the next drop. In just 2 years, the group skyrocketed past 6 million subscribers and smashed through 1 billion total views like it was nothing. Kwebbelkop was sitting right at the top of YouTube, living what looked like the dream, but behind the scenes, the non-stop grind was catching up to him fast. In a 2018 interview, Geordie admitted that every time he wanted to take a break or go on holiday, he couldn't. He felt completely stuck in the cycle.
I was overworked, I was depressed, I wasn't happy, I wasn't enjoying.
Because everything depended on him, he couldn't slow down at all. Uploads had to stay consistent no matter what. And on top of that, creative differences with Jelly and Slogo started building up serious tension. What started as small disagreements slowly turned into a breaking point, and eventually, Geordie made the big move to leave the group for good. At the time, fans actually backed him up, saying they respected him for stepping away and focusing on himself. But once he left the trio, Geordie was on his own and needed a whole new direction. And this is where things started to shift in a risky way. Instead of teaming up with another equal creator, he came up with a different plan. One that would later blow up in his face. Around mid-2020, through Discord and YouTube networking, he connected with Hassan, a small creator with only a few thousand subscribers trying to grow. Geordie pitched him a deal that sounded like a dream at first, becoming the face of a brand new channel called Tiger. But there was a catch hiding in the details. Geordie would fully own the channel, while Hassan would only be the voice and personality behind the character. For Hassan, it felt like a once-in-a-lifetime shot, and it was hard to say no to something that big.
I approached Geordie. I said, hey man, I just want you to know that sometime in the future I would like to fully own the channel. That just rubbed him off really, really wrong. He said, look around you, this is all, because of me, He's like, are you trying to, he told me, like, are you trying to fuck me over, this and that, For
Geordie, this move wasn't just random. It was his first real step toward building scalable creator brands that he could control. At the start, it actually worked too. The Tiger channel began growing fast, pulling in views, and fans were loving it, leaving comments saying they watched every single upload and couldn't get enough. But behind the scenes, things weren't as smooth as they looked. The partnership was never truly equal, and that tension started creeping in.
Wake up and I get a notification on my phone. Your channel access to Tiger has been removed. They wanted to completely cut me off from the whole channel.
Yeah.
And I wasn't okay with that, so I just said, you know what guys, fuck this.
As the channel kept growing, Hassan began asking more questions about the business side, how things were run, how decisions were made, and that's when everything suddenly shifted. Geordie completely shut down his concerns. No discussion, no middle ground at all.
They literally nearly copied everything about me, okay? They even got the eyebrow cuts, they even got the beard fade, they even got the glasses, the hair color. But listen guys, you could have done a way better job, man. This looks absolutely trash, bro.
And even with all of that going on behind the scenes, Hassan kept pushing forward, staying committed to the channel no matter how messy things were getting. He kept showing up, putting in the work, and trying to make it succeed until everything finally fell apart and the whole situation collapsed. In the end, he was forced to start all over from scratch with a brand new channel, losing everything he built almost overnight.
My name is Blue.
All
Today
that
we're
time,
stealing every
effort,
Lamborghini
and
from the
progress
showroom
gone
in
just
GTA.
like that, and he had to rebuild from zero. But it didn't stop there. Geordie took things even further in a way that shocked a lot of people. He used Hassan's old content to create an AI version of him, basically replacing him entirely and keeping the channel going without him. Hassan's reaction was a mix of shock and frustration, and you could tell this situation hit hard.
I'm having a hard time being creative. I'm having a hard time having fun in my job. I'm having a hard time sleep. I'm always worrying about YouTube, always thinking about YouTube. I'm not enjoying it as much as I was before.
While viewers were quick to call it out as messed up and unethical, the backlash hit hard and spread fast across the community. The pressure got so intense that Geordie eventually deleted the AI videos. But by then, the damage was already done, and people weren't forgetting anytime soon. It exposed a completely different side of him that fans hadn't really seen before, and it changed how a lot of people looked at him. Even after all that drama, Geordie still had an audience sticking around. But it didn't last long. He kept uploading daily, grinding just as hard as ever, but something clearly wasn't clicking anymore because the numbers started dropping fast. Within just 1 year, he lost nearly 90% of his views, going from around 100 million monthly views in 2021 to under 10 million in 2022. That's a massive fall. Instead of slowing down and fixing what went wrong, he went all in on a completely different direction. Inspired by the whole tiger situation, he started focusing heavily on AI content and automation. Through his company, he began building tools meant to replace human creators, testing everything with a 3D animated character called Blue.
That's why after 10 years of making daily videos, I quit.
Set in GTA, the channel still blew up to millions of subscribers, so on paper it looked like a success. The numbers were there, the growth was real, but something felt off. The content was missing that human touch, that personality that made his original videos connect so easily with people. But Geordie wasn't focused on that side of things at all. He was locked in on scale and output. In fact, he even celebrated that his AI-driven channel was pulling in more daily views and making more money than his main channel, which says a lot about where his priorities were shifting. Meanwhile, his main channel kept slipping further and further down, losing momentum with every upload. Eventually, he dropped a video titled "My Most Important Video" with "I Quit" in the thumbnail, explaining that he just wasn't enjoying YouTube anymore and things didn't feel the same for him.
Starting today, from now on, you can expect my next video to be top notch, to be really flipping good, to be exactly what you want to see.
He admitted straight up that he was struggling creatively after years of non-stop uploading without a real break. The constant grind had finally caught up to him, and it was clear he was running out of ideas and energy. After nearly a decade of daily uploads, he officially announced that he was stepping away from that schedule and slowing things down.
Welcome to my $7.5 million penthouse tour. Let's see if this video can hit 100,000 likes, and let's do this!
He promised that instead of chasing daily uploads, he would shift his focus toward making higher quality content that actually felt meaningful and worth watching. Yet, the first 3 videos he dropped right after saying that told a completely different story. Instead of delivering the high-quality comeback he promised, the content took a sharp turn that caught people off guard. Rather than deep, meaningful videos, it was mostly him showing off his lifestyle, flexing his $10,000 dog, his custom orange G-Wagon, and even his $7.5 million penthouse. For a lot of viewers, it didn't match what he had just said at all, and the disconnect was hard to ignore.
If I want to build tons and tons and tons of channels that will flourish and shine forever, we need to remove the human element. Yes, it sounds crazy, but we need robots, we need computers.
That's spoken like a man who really cares about the content. If I'm to own 5 million channels, I realize the weakest link is the goddamn human.
And viewers picked up on it instantly. The comment section flipped on him fast, and people were not holding back. It filled up with criticism, with users mocking him for seeming completely out of touch with his own audience. Comments like, "Look at me, look how rich I am," and "So you left Jelly and Slogo just to flex on us," started flooding in everywhere. Instead of rebuilding that connection with his viewers, Geordie ended up doing the opposite, showing a gap between him and the people who supported him from the start. The whole situation got so out of control that YouTuber SunnyV2 stepped in and made a full documentary titled "How Kwebbelkop Lost His Entire Audience in 1 Year," and it blew up fast, pulling in over 12 million views. That video pushed the narrative even further and brought even more attention to everything that was going wrong. And it didn't stop there. Another massive creator, Penguinz0, jumped in as well, making a reaction video to SunnyV2's breakdown and calling out Geordie's direction. At that point, the criticism wasn't just from viewers anymore, it was coming from some of the biggest voices on the platform too.
Start as many channels as you want because they all function under the same brand. It's like Spider-Man, okay? There's so many different Spider-Mans.
Why do you view this situation as a good thing? I mean, for you, I get it because it's a lot of money, owning all those channels and all the ad rev.
Calling him out directly for the way he was thinking about content and not holding back at all. He was straight up labeled a hypocrite, with criticism saying he cared more about money and numbers than the audience that helped build his channel in the first place.
But as someone who keeps presenting himself as a guy who doesn't care about the money and does it for good content, how can you possibly sit here and try and convince your audience of...
Despite all the criticism coming from every direction, Geordie didn't slow down or rethink anything. He doubled down even harder. On December 21st, 2022, he posted a tweet saying he had built an AI that could run its own podcast where everything was fully generated. The script, the voice, even the video itself. He claimed he wasn't even planning to release it and was just testing what was possible. But the message behind it was loud and clear. He went on to say that AI influencers were extremely close to taking over and that it would completely change the game by the end of 2022. At that point, he was fully convinced this was the future, no question about it. In his mind, this solved everything. After years of burnout from constant uploads, AI looked like the perfect escape. A way to keep the views coming in, keep the money flowing, and keep scaling, without even needing to show up himself. Then, in 2023, he went all in on that vision, but missed one huge detail that would come back to hit hard. His audience didn't subscribe to a brand, they subscribed to him. On June 10th, 2023, he tweeted, "Kwebbelkop AI coming soon," and just 1 week later, he shocked everyone by announcing his retirement from YouTube after 11 years on the platform. He said he was stepping away completely and letting AI take over his channel, calling it a public experiment. He claimed he would be the first creator to successfully clone himself and that the system would still pull in millions of views every single month. He framed it as innovation, as the future of content, like he was ahead of everyone else. Then on August 5th, 2023, he dropped the first video featuring Kwebbelkop AI, a 3D animated version of himself designed to look and sound just like him. And that's when things got even more serious.
Kwebbelkop is doing is good. It's only good for him because he can make a lot of money off of it without ever doing anything at all, besides just being the one who owns the program.
From Geordie's point of view, this was the ultimate breakthrough, something next level that would change everything. He even tweeted that he didn't have to lift a finger anymore to make videos, meaning the content could run on autopilot while he focused fully on building his business. But the audience saw it in a completely different way, and the reaction was brutal. The comment sections turned negative fast, filled with people calling the content low quality, cringy, and completely lifeless. A lot of viewers kept saying they missed the old videos with Jelly and Slogo, and that this new version felt like watching a hollow copy of the creator they used to enjoy. Instead of stepping back and rethinking things, Geordie kept defending the idea publicly on Twitter. When someone pointed out that people watch YouTube for real human connection, not AI, he pushed back with a response that made things even worse. He asked, what if viewers didn't even know the content was AI generated, and argued that people would still enjoy it regardless? That response didn't calm anything down. It only added more frustration and made the situation blow up even bigger. And right when things were already heated, Penguinz0 stepped in again, reacting to the entire AI situation and bringing even more attention to it. And he broke down exactly why that argument didn't hold up at all. His response put the real issue right in the spotlight, making it clear that the problem was never just the technology itself. It was what got lost in the process.
And that's shitty. You're lying to them by pretending that it's a real person behind it. The content will never be the same. You can mimic a personality to a certain extent, I guess, but it's still going to be worse for it. There's nothing good.
It's not just about the content, it's about the person behind it. That point hit hard and summed up everything people had been trying to say the whole time. That video pushed Geordie back into the spotlight for the first time in years, but not in a good way. Suddenly, everyone was talking about him again, and most of it was criticism. Still, Geordie didn't back down at all. He kept insisting this was the future. He even claimed that 99.9% of influencers would be AI generated within the next 10 years, but every new upload only made things worse. The videos kept getting flooded with dislikes, and the comments were non-stop, calling him out for choosing profit over his audience. Instead of fixing the disconnect, he kept pushing further in the same direction, digging himself even deeper into the situation. Then in August 2023, after weeks of backlash, Jordi posted a tweet hinting that he might shut down Kwebbelkop AI and go back to making content himself. For a moment, fans felt relieved. It actually looked like he finally understood what went wrong. People started saying things like, "This is what we wanted," and "Glad you're coming back," and the mood started to shift. But that relief didn't last long at all. Just 1 month later, he uploaded a video titled "The End of Kwebbelkop AI," and it came across like a real apology at first.
That's why we decided to train a brand new Kwebbelkop 2.0 model with every bit of feedback we've received. And the results, they're astonishing. Every second you've been watching of this video so far has been completely AI generated. The Kwebbelkop you're seeing on the screen right now is not really me.
Instead of actually coming back, he shocked everyone by revealing an even more advanced, hyper-realistic AI version of himself. And that move completely backfired. The audience wasn't impressed at all. If anything, it made things worse. People weren't asking for a better AI. They were asking for the real person to return. The comment section turned even more negative, with viewers unsubscribing and calling the whole thing pointless. Some even said they only ever watched the channel for Jordi himself, not some digital copy trying to act like him. And just like before, Penguinz0 stepped in again, dropping another video breaking everything down. This time he explained why this direction wasn't just hurting Jordi's channel, but could actually damage content creation as a whole if more creators started thinking this way. And that added even more pressure to an already messy situation.
Clicking on a Kwebbelkop video hoping to find a robot impersonating him. They're there to watch him play Minecraft or whatever, not someone deceive them. What story are you telling here, Kwebbelkop? The story of how Scrooge McDuck found a way to make even more money off minimal effort with AI tools? You're not telling a story. You're making Let's Plays and trying to replace yourself in there so you don't actually have to even do the bare minimum of playing a game and talking.
At that point, the damage was already done, the trust was gone, and the connection with his audience was fading fast. What used to be one of the biggest gaming channels on YouTube was now struggling just to keep people interested, and the drop-off was hard to ignore. But Jordi was so locked in on proving he was right that he didn't slow down. He pushed even harder. On Twitter, his posts started getting more extreme, talking about building 100 AI channels to 100,000 subscribers each, then revealing they were all AI just to see how people would react, and then repeating the whole thing again and again. At that point, it stopped feeling like innovation and started coming across more like an obsession that he couldn't let go of.
You guys don't like Kwebbelkop AI. You have to understand that the real Kwebbelkop has moved on. And I understand why you guys are upset about that. But we have to face the reality here. As of now, I will keep running this channel.
By early November 2023, the backlash had built up so much that he couldn't ignore it anymore, and he uploaded a now-deleted video titled "Why Am I Still Getting Hate?" trying to address everything head-on.
3 months ago, I received an email from YouTube stating that 14 Kwebbelkop AI videos were in violation of some of YouTube's policies.
Trying to respond to all the critics didn't really change anything, because by that point, the narrative was already locked in and people had made up their minds. Heading into 2024, his engagement had completely collapsed and the numbers told the full story. His videos were struggling to even pass 50,000 views, which for someone who once pulled in 100 million views a month was a massive drop that couldn't be ignored. After months of non-stop criticism over the AI-driven Kwebbelkop persona damaging both his reputation and his connection with viewers, Jordi finally made a big move. He pulled the plug, deleted the AI videos, and returned to making long-form content as himself again. But even that didn't fix things. The damage had already been done, and rebuilding trust wasn't that simple. Even with him back on camera, the views didn't bounce back the way people expected. Most of his new uploads struggled to pass 100,000 views, which is just a fraction of what he used to pull at his peak. And even though the channel still shows over 15 million subscribers, it doesn't feel the same at all. It feels empty. The audience is still there on paper, but not in reality, and the comment sections make that clear, filled with people looking back and remembering when his content actually connected with them.
To make things even worse, the Kwebbelkop AI channel is linked to Kwebbelkop channel by a shared account, And that shared account was also terminated because Kwebbelkop AI was terminated.
Comments like, "I remember when this guy was actually real," started showing up more and more, and it was clear the tone had completely changed. While his main channel kept falling apart, Geordie shifted his focus away from YouTube and toward JVDB Studios, trying to rebrand himself as a tech entrepreneur instead of a creator. He started offering AI tools to other creators, pushing the same kind of system he had been building, but the irony was hard to miss. This was the exact approach that had already damaged his own channel, and now he was trying to sell it to others. The only channel under his control that still had some consistency was the Blue channel, which kept uploading repetitive AI-driven content every single day. He tried to build on that momentum, even launching another channel called Blue and Red. But it barely went anywhere, sitting at just a few thousand subscribers with very low views. At the same time, Geordie tried to go back to something that once worked. In late 2024, he reunited with Jelly and launched a new channel called Robust React, hoping to bring back some of that old energy and reconnect with the audience that had been there from the beginning.
And that is why I will officially stop posting Kwebbelkop AI videos on this channel.
For a moment, it actually felt like things might turn around and go back to how they used to be. Fans were excited again, leaving comments saying it felt like the old days had finally come back. But even that didn't last. Their channel manager suddenly quit, forcing them to pause uploads right when things were starting to pick up. And by the time they came back in 2025, the momentum was completely gone. The views were low, the engagement felt weak, and the comment section had shifted from excitement straight into criticism. Even their latest uploads struggled to get attention, with people openly calling it a deserved downfall, which shows just how much the perception had changed. Despite everything that happened, Geordie still didn't let go of the AI vision. On Twitter, he kept posting updates about Kwebbelkop AI 3.0, explaining how everything was fully automated, from the voice to the script, all the way to the gameplay itself. But then, in early 2025, something happened that hit even harder. YouTube stepped in and delivered what might have been the final blow. The Kwebbelkop AI channel was banned entirely, shutting down the very project he had been pushing this whole time. According to Geordie, the strikes came in so fast that he didn't even get a real chance to respond or fix anything before it was too late. The situation escalated quickly, and just like that, the channel was removed before he could properly react. And that moment says everything. After all of it, even the same platform that helped build his career ended up rejecting the direction he chose. That's a huge shift, and it didn't happen by accident. Because in reality, Geordie didn't lose his audience overnight. It happened slowly, step by step. He started replacing the one thing people actually cared about, himself. What began as burnout turned into experimentation, and that experimentation slowly turned into a complete disconnect that people could clearly feel. At the end of the day, it's simple. People don't subscribe to systems, and they don't subscribe to automation. They subscribe to real people, real personalities, and that connection you can't fake.
Stop! 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 Stop!
And once that connection is gone, rebuilding it is almost impossible. That trust doesn't just come back like nothing happened. That's what makes this whole situation hit even harder. If you made it this far, let me know what you think. Was this always going to happen, or could he have turned it around before everything fell apart? And if you're watching Fame Rant Daily, you already know what to do. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and stay locked in. I'll catch you in the next one.